Eala as well. She has made her debut here over the last couple of years, and she's won some matches here. Out of all the clay tournaments, this might be her best.
Rule number 33. Fear no man on this earth. Be the mighty lion amongst wild beasts.
Karolina Plíšková, former world number 1, two-time Grand Slam finalist. And let's not forget, owner of one of the most dangerous serves the women's game has ever seen. This isn't just a shot, it's a statement. Blink, and the point is already over. Opponents don't just return her serve, they negotiate with it. For years, she's been that player, the one you don't want to see your name next to in the draw. Calm, efficient, ice-cold under pressure, and capable of dismantling matches before they even properly begin. Now picture this moment. The draw comes out in Madrid. Names roll by. Everything feels routine. Until suddenly, pause. The scroll stops. Her eyes lock in, and there it is. Alex Eala. First round, Madrid. Clay. That's not just unlucky. That's tennis saying, good luck, you're going to need it. Because this isn't just any opponent you ease into a tournament against. This isn't someone still figuring out the surface. This is a player built for this exact situation. Madrid clay isn't just a court. It's a battlefield where movement, patience, and spin decide everything. And Alex Eala? She moves on this surface like it's second nature. She didn't arrive here hoping to adapt. She arrived already fluent. Years of training in Spain. Countless hours on red clay. Learning the subtle details most players struggle with. How to slide into shots. How to construct points. How to stay patient when rallies stretch longer than expected. And then comes the part that makes this matchup even more uncomfortable. Because her development didn't just happen anywhere. It happened under the influence of one of the greatest clay court players in history, Rafael Nadal. Now let's be clear, that's not just a name you casually mention. That's the ultimate clay court authority. 14 French Open titles, 63 clay titles overall, numbers that don't just impress, they overwhelm. Nadal didn't just win on clay, he defined what winning on clay looks like. And that philosophy, relentless intensity, heavy topspin, mental endurance, that's exactly the foundation behind Alex Eala's game. She's not rushing points. She's building them. She's not panicking under pressure. She's inviting it. You hit one good shot, she sends back 2 better ones. Now put yourself in Plíškova's position for a second. You're stepping onto clay, a surface that has never been your strongest weapon, and across the net is someone who treats it like home turf. That's not ideal. That's complicated. And it gets even more serious when you consider the timing. Because this isn't peak-era Plíšková, walking into the tournament as a top seed. This is 2026. She's in Madrid on a special ranking. She's working her way back, trying to rebuild momentum, trying to prove she still belongs at the highest level. Every match matters right now. Every opportunity counts. What she needed was a manageable start. A match to find rhythm, confidence, timing. What she got instead is this. A 20-year-old opponent in top form, on her best surface, in Spain, with a playing style designed to drag opponents into long, exhausting battles. That's not a warm-up. It's a full test from the very first ball. And let's not ignore the psychological side of this, because first rounds are tricky even under normal conditions. There's tension, nerves, unpredictability. Add a dangerous opponent like Alex Eala, and suddenly every game feels heavier. Every mistake feels louder. If there was one name Plíšková probably hoped to avoid early, this was it. And yet here we are. Now zoom out for a second and look at the bigger stage. The Madrid Open runs from April 21st to May 3rd. This isn't just another stop on the calendar. It's one of the biggest clay events before Roland Garros, a place where form starts to reveal itself and contenders begin to separate from the rest. And the field? Stacked. Absolutely stacked. You've got Aryna Sabalenka bringing power that can blow matches wide open. Elena Rybakina with her clean, efficient shot-making. Iga Swiatek, arguably the most dominant clay court player of this generation, setting the standard. Add Coco Gauff and Jessica Pegula into the mix, and suddenly every round looks like a final waiting to happen. Naturally, most of the attention goes to those top seeds. That's where the headlines usually are. But quietly, almost sneakily, this first round match between Plíšková and Alex Eala is building serious intrigue. Because it has everything. Experience versus youth, power versus patience. A comeback story versus a rising player who has nothing to lose and everything to prove. And that combination? That's dangerous. Because in matches like this, rankings don't always tell the full story. Momentum matters, confidence matters, comfort on the surface matters.
So for me, obviously training with Rafa is something that people and young kids can only dream about. So it was such a pleasure to share the court with him. He gave me some tips on my forehand and a few other small advices. This is the first time I've ever hit with him in my life, and it's just a memory that will last.
And right now, all signs suggest this could be far more complicated than a typical first-round encounter. This isn't just a match where one player shows up and handles business. This is the kind of matchup where momentum can swing quickly, where long rallies start to shift the balance, where frustration can creep in if things don't go according to plan. And if this turns into a physical, grinding clay court battle, that's exactly the scenario where Alex Eala becomes even more dangerous. So no, this isn't just another line on the schedule. This is tension from the very first point. This is pressure arriving early. This is a draw that doesn't wait for later rounds to deliver drama. And for Karolína Plíšková, this isn't just about getting through round one. This is about survival. This isn't just a story. It's a full-on tennis saga, legacy, mentorship, pressure, expectation. And right in the middle of it all, a young player stepping back onto Spanish clay, ready to show exactly what she's made of. Because this is about Alex Eala, world number 45 from the Philippines, back in Madrid. And let's be very clear from the start, she didn't come here to gain experience or see how it goes. No, she's here to compete, to challenge, and if the opportunity shows up, to take something big. Quiet exit? Not part of the plan. Now here's the part that should make any opponent pause for a second. Maybe even two. Because drawing Alex Eala on clay isn't just about facing a talented young player. It's about facing a system, a background, a training environment that has produced one of the most dominant eras in tennis history. Let's rewind the timeline. At just 13 years old, 13, while most players are still figuring out school schedules and junior tournaments, Alex Eala made a decision that would completely reshape her career. She left the Philippines and moved to Mallorca, Spain. Not for a visit, not for a short-term camp, not for a quick experience. This was a full commitment. Her destination? The Rafa Nadal Academy. And this isn't just any academy with a nice logo and a few clay courts. This is a place built on a philosophy, a system, a mindset designed by one of the greatest competitors the sport has ever seen, Rafael Nadal. You don't just train there, you absorb it. She lived there, trained there every single day, learned how to move, how to think, how to compete on clay before most players even understand what clay really demands. While others are still adjusting their footwork, she's already comfortable sliding into shots like it's second nature. And here's the key detail. This academy doesn't believe in easy days. There's one core rule. There is no difference between practice and a high-level match. Every session is intense. Every drill matters. Every rally is played with purpose. That means pressure isn't something you learn later. It's something you grow up with. So by the time Alex Eala hit 15, she wasn't just developing talent. She was building habits, discipline, resilience. The kind of mindset that doesn't panic when rallies get long or when matches get tight. Now you might think, okay, that's already impressive. But wait, it gets even more serious. Because heading into this clay season, the connection goes beyond just academy training. It becomes personal. Rafael Nadal himself, yes, the king of clay, has been on court training with Alex Eala. Not watching from a distance, not giving occasional advice, actually hitting, working, sharing insight on the same courts where he built part of his legacy. And let's not forget, this is a player who has won Madrid 5 times. He knows these conditions, these courts, these moments better than almost anyone in history. That kind of knowledge, you can't fake it. You can't Google it. You earn it over years of dominance. But the story doesn't stop there, because there's another name stepping into the picture, one that carries just as much weight behind the scenes. Tony Nadal, the coach, the strategist. The man who guided Rafael Nadal through the majority of his 14 French Open titles. The architect behind one of the greatest clay court dynasties the sport has ever seen. And now, he's officially part of Alex Eala's coaching team. This isn't symbolic, this is active involvement. He was in her player box during her breakout run at the 2025 Miami Open. He's been on court with her in Mallorca during intense clay training blocks just weeks before Madrid. This is real coaching, real preparation, real influence. And even Alex Eala herself couldn't quite believe it. She said, "It's so great and we're so blessed to have Tony as part of the team. If you had told me that years ago, my mind would have been blown." That reaction says everything. Because for a young player, this isn't just about improvement. It's about access to decades of elite knowledge. Think about that for a second. The The Nadal family's understanding of clay, built over more than 20 years of dominance, is now being passed directly into her game. Not in theory, not in general advice, but in daily training, match preparation, and real-time adjustments. That's not just coaching. That's inheritance. And when you bring that into a tournament like Madrid, on clay, in Spain, the same environment where that philosophy was born and perfected, suddenly this isn't just another player in the draw. This is someone arriving with a blueprint, a system that has already proven it can win at the highest level over and over again. Those aren't just impressive statistics from the past. Those are the numbers of a player, of a family, who turned clay into their personal territory for nearly 2 decades. 5 Madrid Open titles, 10 in Rome, 11 in Monte Carlo, and a jaw-dropping 14-0 record in French Open finals. Let that sink in for a second. 14 finals, 14 wins, 0 losses. That's not just dominance. That's perfection under pressure. We're talking about Rafael Nadal, a player who didn't just succeed on clay, he turned it into his personal kingdom, complete with rules, traditions, and a permanent no-entry sign for opponents. And here's the uncomfortable truth for anyone standing across the net from Alex Eala in Madrid. That brain, that philosophy, that clay court DNA, it hasn't disappeared. It's been passed on, carefully, deliberately, and very recently, right into her preparation for this exact tournament. So when Karolína Plíšková walks onto that Madrid clay and looks across the net, she's not just seeing a 20-year-old from the Philippines trying to make a statement. She's looking at years of elite clay education, standing right there, ready to rally. And it doesn't stop with the Nadal connection. Because Spain? That's not just a tournament stop for Alex Eala. It's basically her second home. She knows these courts the way some players know their favorite practice court back home. Spanish red clay isn't a mystery to her. It's familiar territory. She understands how the ball grips, how it kicks up, how it slows down just enough to turn rallies into endurance tests. Add Madrid's altitude into the mix, where the ball flies a little faster, reacts a little differently, and suddenly experience becomes a massive advantage. And guess what? She's got that covered too. She knows the rhythm of clay, the patience it demands, the way points unfold, not in seconds but in layers, because she's been living this style of tennis since her teenage years. This isn't something she switches on. It's something she is. And just when you think the preparation couldn't get any stronger, there's another detail. She's been training alongside IGA Swiatek at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Yes, the current world number 2, widely considered the most dominant clay court player in the women's game right now. That's not casual hitting, that's high-level sparring with the best of the best. So while others are preparing, Alex Eala is sharpening her game against elite competition in the exact conditions she's about to face. That's not preparation, that's a warning sign. Now let's talk about something people often underestimate, the crowd. Because Madrid isn't just any tournament crowd, it's loud, it's passionate, it's emotional. And they remember stories. They've seen Alex Eala grow at the Nadal Academy. They know where she trained, who she worked with, what she represents. And don't be surprised if they get behind her like she's one of their own. And on clay, that matters more than you think. Momentum swings faster. Energy builds. One good point turns into 3. One breakpoint save feels like a match point. A supportive crowd can push you through tough moments and make things even more uncomfortable for your opponent. So before a single ball is even struck, Karolína Plíšková isn't just stepping into a match. She's stepping into Alex Eala's environment. Now let's get tactical for a second, because this is where things become brutally clear. Plíškova's only real path here? Aggression. Immediate, fearless, no hesitation aggression. She has to serve big, hit her spots, take control early in rallies, step inside the baseline and finish points before they turn into extended exchanges. Because the longer the rally goes, the more this match starts to lean in one direction. And spoiler alert, it's not her direction. Because the moment rallies stretch out on clay, this becomes Alex Eala's playground. Her heavy topspin forehand starts pushing opponents back. Her footwork, refined over years in Mallorca, keeps her balanced, controlled, always ready for the next shot. She can defend, reset, and then suddenly flip the point around. And perhaps most importantly, she knows how to build points, not rush them, not force them, build them, layer by layer until the opening appears. That's dangerous, especially for a player trying to avoid long exchanges. And here's another key detail from her recent preparation. Tony Nadal has been working specifically on her movement and ball feel during the pre-clay training block, fine-tuning those small details that make a huge difference on this surface. And Alex Eala herself confirmed it. She said, "We worked a lot on feeling the ball and moving well. I think I'm moving better than I did last year." That's not just a casual improvement. That's exactly what you want to hear heading into clay's season. Better movement means better defense, better positioning, better ability to turn neutral rallies into attacking opportunities. So now stack everything together. Improved movement, elite coaching, Nadal's philosophy, home-like conditions, confidence from recent training, a crowd that might be on her side. And suddenly, this isn't just a tough matchup, it's a situation where almost every factor is pointing in the same direction. This isn't just a first-round match, it's a statement waiting to happen. This is positioning, timing, and momentum all colliding at once. Because for Alex Eala, Madrid isn't the destination, it's the launch pad. Think about the calendar for a second. Madrid, then Rome. And then the big one, the French Open. That's the runway, that's the build-up. That's where players fine-tune their game, test their limits, and send signals to the rest of the tour. And Alex Eala? She's not here to quietly pass through that runway, she's here to take off at full speed. Let's not forget, this is a player who already shook the tennis world at the 2025 Miami Open. She took down Iga Swiatek, the world number 2 at the time. That wasn't luck. That wasn't a fluke. That was proof. Proof that she can step onto any surface, face the very best, and win. Hard court? Done it. Big stage? Handled it. Top opponent? Beaten them. Now comes the next step. Clay, the surface that demands patience, intelligence, and endurance. The surface where points don't just happen, you have to earn them. And this is exactly where Alex Eala has been building her identity. So what does she need now? Not just a win, but a statement. And what better way to make that statement than against a former world number 1? Against a player with a legacy, a reputation, and a serve that has defined matches for years? Because if Alex Eala delivers a strong, convincing performance here, on Spanish clay, under the influence of the Nadal system, that's not just a result, that's a message to the entire tour. A message that says, I'm ready. Imagine the narrative for a second. The student of Rafael Nadal stepping onto clay in Spain and winning convincingly in the very environment where that philosophy was born. That's not just good storytelling, that's headline material. The student winning in the teacher's kingdom. It almost feels scripted, except this is real. Now let's talk prediction. Because this is where things get bold. All signs, they're pointing in one direction. The surface favors her, the preparation favors her, the environment favors her, the momentum, definitely leaning her way. So here it is, clear and confident. Alex Eala wins this match. And not just wins comfortably. Straight sets, controlled, composed, and clinical. The kind of performance that doesn't leave much room for doubt. Because right now, she's stepping onto her surface, in her second home, carrying the tactical knowledge of the most dominant clay court legacy the sport has ever seen. That's not a small advantage, that's a full package. Meanwhile, Karolína Plíšková, she didn't just get a tough draw, she walked straight into a situation she probably hoped to avoid at all costs. The moment that bracket came out, the moment she saw the name Alex Eala, you can almost imagine that quiet reaction. Not this one, not here. That's the kind of draw that makes you rethink your entire first-round strategy. That's the kind of matchup where nothing feels simple. So yes, call it what it is. That's the instant regret. That's the tension. That's the pressure before a single ball is even struck. And that's exactly why this match is one of the most compelling stories of the entire Madrid Open. Not a final, not a semifinal. A first round that feels like it belongs much deeper in the tournament. Now it's your turn. If you believe Alex Eala is about to make a serious statement in Madrid, say it loud. Because this is where debates start and predictions get tested. What do you see happening here? Straight sets for Alex Eala like the momentum suggests? Or does Plíškova's experience and that massive serve find a way to disrupt the script? Because, let's be honest, that serve is still a weapon, on any surface, even on clay. If it's landing, it can cause problems. So here's the real question. Can Plíškova's legendary serve hold up long enough to keep her in this match? Or will the rallies stretch, the points extend, and the balance slowly shift toward the player built for this surface? And what about the mental side? Is Alex Eala ready to handle the spotlight, the expectations, the noise of a big stage clay match in Madrid? Or could nerves sneak in and make things tighter than expected? Because talent gets you here, but composure keeps you here. So drop your prediction. Who wins? How many sets? What's the score? Is this a dominant performance? Or a surprise twist waiting to happen? The stage is set. The story is ready. Now all that's left is the match.